Friday, so it's time to take a look at what's been going on in Celebland in our Showbiz Spotlight.
I'm your biggest fan, I'll follow you until you love me. Paparazzi.
Well, first up, it seems that there's a spare chair on the X Factor judging panel due to Danny Minogue's pregnancy. She'll be in Australia giving birth during the audition, so the bosses plan to use guest judges until she returns. So, little girls, do you think that you could cut us as an X Factor judge if you were given the chance?
You see, I think I could, you know, because I think... I like Simon Cowell because he says it as it is, and he says things that we wouldn't say, because we go, can't say that. But you see, I think I could be truthful. I don't mean by destroying people. No. I just mean by being absolutely honest. This business that they're going into is the hardest business in the world, and there's no work. So you've just got to be at the top of your tree all the time and got to be really, really good. So you've got to be told, in fact, that, you know, maybe you should do something else.
So you think that you would be constructive?
I would be constructive, but I'd be absolutely honest. I mean, Zoe, you've been a judge, haven't you? So you know what that's like.
Yeah, I've done it loads of times, and do you know what? It's a difficult balance to find, because when I'm teaching my pupils at home and they'll sing a bum note, I'll go, oh, that was rubbish, that was so out of tune. And that's a normal thing for me to say during a singing lesson.
But on the telly...
However, transfer it, those poor Josephs and Marias, you know, when you say that, oh, you know what, that was really, really flat.
But their
it's
little
so
faces...
hard, their faces change and the tears come, and you do feel it's very hard to criticise, but you've got to do it, because if you go from the heart and you say what the truth is, you can't go wrong.
You see, I just don't think I'd be able to do it.
You get used to it, it gets easier.
It's the kids. I wouldn't be able to do it with the kids. I think with the grown-ups, if you're a grown-up and you're entering into a competition, then you've got to take it on the chin.
Yeah.
But it's these little kids.
That's the hardest,
some
Lisa.
talent shows, you've got like little 5-year-olds.
Oh, that's different. We're not talking about that, really. We're talking about the people that...
Well, but you are on the Britain's Got Talent sort of shows.
Yeah, but you know what I mean?
My only worry would be, because once I had to judge this competition in a sort of bar in Manchester, it was a talent show, and it was quite a big prize for people. It was about £1,000 and a trip to Mallorca. So, of course, all their families, some of them were quite scary, were staring at me while I was judging. And I was laughing so much, my voice was like that. Some of the people, to the point that I had to get a cigarette lighter and burn my thumb, because I thought I was going to get killed by some of these people in Manchester.
Just to stop yourself
And then
laughing.
I just had to go, you were marvellous. And I turned it into I was trying to be emotional.
No, you...
Because I couldn't say to them that they were... I couldn't say that they were bad. That's the thing, that's why I'd be rubbish.
That's the
I've just lost myself a job, haven't I, there?
About, being on a judging panel like the X Factor, as long as you're honest and you're good at what you do and you've got a right to be there...
You've got a hand
And, of course, it's because you've got a total right to be there, so if you were constructive, I would take it. Some of them...
I was just about to say, you know about music, so you know what you're talking about. Me, I don't know much about music, but I know about entertaining and whether you've got...
And I, of course, would be able to get up and sing them a medley of my hit.
And can we say, you're doing very well.
Thank you. Anyway, staying in the world of music, singer Carly Simon has finally entered a 38-year guessing game over who the subject of this hit was.
You had one eye in the mirror as you watched yourself go by, and all the girls dreamed that they'd be your partner, they'd be your partner, and you're so vain. Probably think this song is about you. You're so vain. I bet you think this song is about you. Don't you? Don't you?
Yes, you all know
Did you
who
notice
you are.
that? Did you all notice? I just looked at us and we're all doing Nana dancing going, you're so vain. Nana dancing, it's just awful. Oh, my God. Anyway, it was believed to be about one of her ex-boyfriends, who include, excuse me, Mick Jagger, Cat Stevens and Warren Beatty, who I thought it was always Warren Beatty.
Yeah, me too.
However, the target has been revealed as David Geffen, who at the time was the head of her record label. But when we hear that song, who do we think it's about? Surely, what was it, 1973 or something?
1973.
We all had someone that we thought it was about. What about you?
Well, I was only 9. I really was. I thought it was about me. I thought it was about a girl. Because there's a bit in it where she goes, you walked into the party like you were walking onto a yacht, you had your hair beyond one eye, and your scarf, it was apricot.
Oh, I thought your scarf, it was avant-garde. You see, I never knew that was the thing.
But I'm thinking it's got to be about a girl, because you wouldn't have a bloke wearing an apricot scarf. So I thought... And it was perfect for getting ready, prancing about in the mirror, going, you walked into with one hair over the eye like that.
At 9?
a knife.
No, I must admit, I did think it was my ex because it was so him. You know, you're so vain. I don't know why I'm singing like that.
Yeah, but your ex-partner admitted that he was vain, didn't he? He didn't see it was a problem.
He would. It's not being horrible because he would actually agree. He was terribly vain. Wherever he went, he had a mirror with him. You know, and he had all the makeup and the hair and
makeup.
Well, he liked the bronzer. You know what I mean? Being bronzed all the time. So he'd have all that and all that. So he would admit it. It's nothing bad. He would admit that he was vain, and that song was probably about
Well, my ex, it was definitely about my ex, and we'd sit down when we're out for a meal, and he couldn't wait to pick up the cutlery, because he'd go with a knife.
Yeah!
And if he had a soup spoon, he was away. Honest to
That's
God.
horrible, though, because it makes your face look really rounded.
Yeah.
But he also as well, when we used to live on the South Coast, he used to go into Waitrose on a Friday night wearing leatherette shorts, looking like he had a banana stuffed down, and go, why is everyone looking at me, babe? Do you know what I mean? Doing it so vain.
It's horrible vanity for men, I think. But I would say, I've got to tell you a story. There was about 4 years ago, I went on Weakest Link. That was it. And I was so scared. It was wiped from my memory. Honestly, I was so scared. I thought, this is just the most scariest thing I've ever done.
Horrible.
Steely eyes, Miss Anne Robinson. This was just after she had all that work done. So she's stealing. She went, so, Miss Judge, you think you're a singer, do you? And I was like, dripping, palms. And I went, yes, I am, yes. You think you're a good vocal coach? Yes, I am. She went, come on, let's hear you. Come on, let's hear you. And I went, and I thought, shit, what am I going to sing? And I went, you're so vain.
Yeah.
And she went.
Anyway, finally, footballer Wayne Bridge has announced that he will not be putting himself forward for the England team when they play in the World Cup this summer. In a statement, he said, I believe my position in the squad is now untenable and potentially divisive. This follows allegations that his teammate John Terry had an affair with his ex-girlfriend. So do you admire his decision to, to sacrifice his place for his integrity and his principles?
Well, he might not have got picked anyway, I suppose. I mean, you never know. But I can understand why you kind of, want to stand your ground and not be in the same room as the other person. But personally, I think, I've been in a situation where I've had, bad history with someone that I work with, and I've gone in and it's, and got on with it, really, because I think you need to actually just sort of... if you've got a great job, like he's got a great job, you want to hang on to it. You don't want to walk away from it, because then they've really won.
Representing your country as well. Sherrie, if you was, say, in this job and somebody was brought onto this panel who would, say, had an affair with your current partner, if you had a current partner...
Yes.
I didn't mean that to come out. I didn't mean that! Oh!
You see, they hate you now.
They hate me now. I didn't mean it to come out like that, but you know what I mean. And would you be prepared to sacrifice your lovely job?
Well, I think it's a very difficult thing. That I have been in a situation with my ex who had everybody else, and
Sherrie, so he was very good. Joking.
Well, I have been in a situation where there's somebody. A friend of mine had to do with him, and I didn't know, and then I found out, and I found that totally impossible to actually sit next to that person. If you're in a job, and Lisa had an affair with him. I don't quite know what I'd do, really. I would find it really hard to sit here and talk to Lisa.
On a panel like this where we
and
share
have
our lives and everything.
Well, obviously, this show would be different. I do understand. Obviously, I can understand that Wayne Bridge is not going to go out for a drink now with John Terry. But I just think that he really does have to get rid of male pride at this point and do it for his country. Because I just think that when his son grows up and says, Daddy, why did you not play in the World Cup? To say, well, Mummy was having a do with Uncle Terry. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
Allegedly.
The thing is, Dan, I think it's probably... It's not the bravest move. It's maybe not the right move, but sometimes you've got to go with how you feel and how the avenue your heart is taking you. And as strong as people think that I am, you know what? I would probably feel like I'd want to run away. And that's fine. Sometimes if you can't do it, you just can't do it. You've got to go with how you feel. There's nothing wrong with it. If you can't do it, then...
I just think he'll regret it, personally, but,
I agree.
We'll all be divided on that one. So, anyway... Okay.